limitation right now. You could then even take that and sell that note to somebody else and still cash in on it, but that's more advanced. That's more covered in this in the program, obviously. There, but we don't have time for that right now. But plus, on land, you can ask for a higher interest rate. Land, you can actually, it's absolutely normal to ask for anywhere from 10, 11 to 14%. Now, you got to check in your state the laws of how much interest rate you can charge without breaking law. What's it, the usury or what's it called?
Usury.
Usury laws and so on. But 10, 11% is standard. I charge 10.9% right now. Nobody ever asked me anything because it's not about how much interest rate you charge. It's about how affordable the monthly payment is. I'd rather stretch out the payment over 3 more years and leave the interest rate where it is to keep the payment affordable for people than reduce the interest rate. Because if I stretch it out over more years, guess what? I get paid more for more years, right?
Right.
So foreclosure also is very, very easy if you do something like a land contract. The land contract is legal in most states except for Texas right now. They made it kind of illegal. But other than that, it works pretty much in every state that I'm aware of. And the land contract is basically something where you don't give them you give them right of use for the property. You don't give them the deed to the property until they paid it off. Therefore, foreclosure is much faster than with a typical deed of trust and note. So, for example, in Arizona, a foreclosure for a forfeiture, it's called, on a land contract takes 3 weeks and costs $42. That's a nice thing, right? Now, I pride myself in not foreclosing on my customers unless I really have to. My goal is for the people that buy land from me to buy it, to make their payments, to live happily ever after, and enjoy the fruits of their payments and enjoy their piece of land, and then perhaps tell friends about it or so. But if they don't pay for months and months, then at some point of time I gotta pull the trigger, and then the foreclosure is really fast. Right. So ultimately you create massive and long-lasting passive cash flow. And that's one thing. You create an irresistible offer and you become the bank. You become literally the bank here. Now, so does that seller financing sound interesting, right? It does. Now, 2 more words. We already talked about seller financing. One of the things that I thought I mentioned important, who here considers himself an advanced real estate investor? Or who has heard about the dealer status? Dealer status, it's an IRS tax thing. So it's towards the end of the presentation right now. I don't want to overcomplicate it, but I want to just say a couple of things. That is, if you buy and sell a lot of properties, the IRS tax entity is going to call you a dealer. And if you're a dealer, if you do seller financing, they basically, you got to pay taxes right at the beginning of the deal, no matter if you haven't even collected the money yet. So that means, for example, let's say you get a property for free, right? You get it for free, paid nothing for it. It's worth $10,000. You sell it for $10,000 with seller financing. They give you $1,000 down, and let's say it's in December. How much money did you just make? $1,000, right? So if you're a dealer, the IRS is going to say, no, you just made $10,000 in profits, give me $3,000. Well, you haven't collected $3,000. That's a problem, right? Well, that would be a problem if that would be a house. But because it's land, there is no dealer status.
Wow.
The IRS has, and you might want to write that down, because many CPAs don't think this exists unless you show them that. Have them read that, have your CPA read that and confirm that. It's code section, IRS exemption, code section 1237A and code section 453I2. That excludes it. It basically says if you buy a piece of land, you turn around, you sell a piece of land without changing anything to it, you just buy it, you turn around and sell it, you're exempt from the dealer status. So in our example, you get the property for free, you sell it for $10,000, you get a $1,000 down payment, it's a $1,000 profit, you pay taxes only on the $1,000 that you receive. Is that better?
Much.
That's huge. That is huge if you know this. If you have ever done seller financing on houses, especially houses that you bought cheap, held for a long time, and then you sell, it's a killer otherwise. So, but on land, you're exempt for it. Also, have you heard about the SAFE Act? The seller financing, it's a new law that actually the HUD put in 2008 already, that basically says that every state, pretty much by kind of next week or so, by the end of July this year, has to have a law on their books regulating seller financing. And basically it says that most states say that you either have to be a mortgage broker to be able to do seller financing, which is a nightmare, and you got to do licenses and all kinds of stuff, or you have to run your deal through a mortgage broker and have them sign up, and then they get a fee. So in either case, nothing good comes out of it. But again, The most states that I've read about, and the federal HUD rule, limits their statutes to dwellings, 1 to 4 units, dwelling structures, and mobile homes, not to land. Meaning, forget about it. It's as well, you might as well not have heard about the SAFE Act if you do the land deal, because it doesn't affect you. So therefore, the IRS doesn't have a problem. The SAFE Act doesn't have a problem. You get your money back when you sell the property, or within the down payment or a few monthly payments, you have your money back. How many times can you do this? How many times do you want to do this?
Millions.
Over and over and over again. Now again, when I figured this out,
Ready, please.
I did a lot